Hello, everyone. Welcome to our weekly inspiration. My name is Reverend Leah Alvarado. I'm with New Thought Northern Colorado Center for Spiritual Living. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we come together. I read a different passage from a New Thought author and teacher. We do a little meditation, some prayer, and end with an affirmation. So glad that you are here today. I hope this finds you well. And if you want to say hello, feel free to do so in the chat. Would love to know who is here with me today, or even if you're joining us in the future, would love to have you engage with us. So today's topic is the risk to bloom, and it's from Mark Nepo in his book, The Book of Awakening. Hi, Resin. Nice to have you here. And then the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk to bloom. Anais Nin said that. So it's one probably all of us have heard before, a beautiful quote. We all face this turning point repeatedly, when resisting the flow of inner events suddenly feels more hurtful than leaping toward the unknown. Yet no one can tell us when to leap. There is no authority to bless our need to enter life but the God within. How often we thwart ourselves by holding tenaciously to what is familiar. It is instructive, if chilling, that in floral shops, the roses that won't open are called bullets. They are discarded because they will never bloom. They have turned in on themselves so tightly that they can never release their fragrance. Yet as spirits in bodily form, we have the chance to tighten and bloom more than once. But even in spirits, if turned in on themselves enough, may grow accustomed to being closed. Unlike roses, however, the human chamber can be shut down for years, and still it takes but one breath from the true center, and we will flower. It has always amazed and humbled me how the risk to bloom can seem so insurmountable beforehand, and so inevitably freeing once the threshold of suffering is crossed. I have a friend in recovery, and when asked what made him stop drinking, he says, "The pain of drinking became greater than the pain of not drinking." The same can be said for all of us. We can flower in an instant as soon as the pain of not flowering and not loving become greater than our fear. And he goes on to includes a little meditation at the end, which I'm going to walk us through because I think it's a beautiful way to just ground in even more deeply the message today. So if you're comfortable closing your eyes, and just begin by taking some deep breaths, breathing in through your heart and out through your heart. Breathing in through your heart and out through your heart. Once again, breathing in through your heart and out through your heart. Feeling that place within you that wants to open even more. That bud, like the rose that is right there in the center of your being, gently and slowly opening. With each breath, that beautiful rose begins to open, sharing yourself with the world, feeling safe to open and to fully bloom. Imagine the God in you warming your fears open. So imagine that divinity that God is at the center of your being assist you in opening yourself and in warming your fears open. Whatever fear that is there within your center, whatever fears that you are carrying, imagine that the divine is taking each one, holding them, transforming them, opening you, releasing. Note what it feels like to have your center safely exposed, even for a moment. So just taking a moment to pause and notice, noticing what it feels like to have your center open, the center of your being, seeing that rose in full bloom in the center of your chest, and feeling what it feels like to safely open. Imagine this moment of opening as your day goes forth, as you move forward through this day, wherever you are, in line at the supermarket, sitting on your couch, going for a walk. Imagine bringing your attention back to your center and continuing to open, allowing yourself to fully bloom. Feeling that presence within you and sharing that light with everyone you come into contact with. And he goes on to say, you can repeat this whenever you start to feel your sense of things tighten. And we can all feel that moment when there's constriction, when we close ourselves. Perhaps it's due to a wounding that we're being reminded of from the past, or something that has happened recently in our life. And our heart just closes up. It's if a shield gets put in front of our bodies, protecting us. And it's a natural thing that we do. It's not a bad thing. But it's good to become aware of the feeling that's there within our being, to notice, am I open or am I closed? And not to judge ourselves if we find that we're closed. Perhaps we need to go within and be in that tight little bud. But at some point, we may choose to consciously open, to open ourselves, to open our heart, to allow that rose to bloom in all its glory. Because that is truly who we are. That is the very essence of who we are. It's who we came into the world as. We were these open and free beings. And then as we move along our spiritual path, our spiritual journey, we vacillate back and forth. We close, we open, we close, we open. And as we end up on the spiritual path, we learn some things about ourselves and about that, just this idea of having a choice in the matter. That we can consciously choose to take a deep breath and to open, and to know that we are safe, to know that we are held and that we are protected always. And so let's, I'm going to put some questions into the chat here. So the first question is, what scares you the most about being who you are in the world? As you imagine yourself opening even more to the world around you, is there anything that scares you in doing that? And if you're comfortable, you can make some comments in the chat. No pressure to do so. So it's just something to reflect on within ourselves. Is there something that I'm wanting to keep here and not share it? Or is there, when I think about opening myself fully, do I immediately want to close down? Do I immediately want to put up some kind of barrier? What is keeping you from opening yourself fully? What scares you about that? So just taking a deep breath and noticing that within you, within yourself. Again, not to judge, but just to notice. And just being gentle with yourself and loving yourself through this noticing, through this observation. And the next question is, what is possible for your life if you allow yourself to fully bloom? What's possible? If we allow ourselves to completely open and bloom and shine, what's possible? If you think about a flower, I planted some flowers recently, and there was one pot, and I was so struck by the extraordinary color of these orange flowers. It's why I bought them. And they were blooming and shining, and I was so excited. And then all of a sudden, it went away. All the flowers, they all just died, and all was left was the green. And the green kept flourishing, the leaves, but the flowers didn't come back. And I thought, what's happening? Where'd they go? And so I would tend to them and water them and gave them sun, and they didn't come back. And then a couple weeks went by, and then all of a sudden one popped up, and I was so excited. And there it was in all its glory, just blooming and shining. Yeah. And I think that's how we are as humans, right? Sometimes we need to go within. Sometimes we need to move into the stillness and protect ourselves for whatever reason. And then when we're ready, we open back up again. Yeah. And what's possible for our life when we do that, when we open ourselves, when we feel safe to fully express all that we are. What's possible? What do you notice? Hi, Karen. Hi, Doug. So when we are blooming fully, what is possible? Any comments? Any comments in the chat? When we are giving ourselves full permission to do that, it brings us joy, doesn't it? It brings us peace. I'm just thinking about for myself. We suddenly feel like we can take on the world, that we can handle anything. And there's a certain trust. There has to be a trust there and a faith in life in order to do that. To know that we're protected, to know that it is safe to open. And doesn't that feel wonderful when we can do that? The peace that comes over us and moves through our being when we can fully allow ourselves to bloom and to shine. I'm going to put our affirmation into the chat and we can say this together. I'm noticing my affirmations are really long. So I hope you don't mind that. I put them in the chat so that if you want to take a piece out and use it throughout the day, yeah, that's possible. So let's say this today together. Today I release any fears that keep me from expressing all that I am. I slowly and gently open my heart. I am a child of God, and therefore opening myself like a flower is what I am meant to do in this life. And as I open myself, I experience the pure joy that life is. I choose to bloom. I choose to shine. I choose to be who I am in the world, knowing I am loved, valued, and seen. And so it is. So thank you for joining me today. Thank you for taking time to be a part of this on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I look forward to being with you again next Tuesday. I wish you a beautiful rest of your week and weekend. Know that you are loved. Know that we are here if you need us. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for being here. Namaste.